If you're not sure what to put on your social media, but you know you need to create content inside of my coaching sessions and inside of the action plans I create for my clients, we help them line by line, script by script to figure out what exactly they need to do in context of their business to market on social media and create community and conversation. Today, we are taking a look at one of my favorite businesses. We're going to take a look at her Instagram page, learn a little bit about what she's doing, and come up with 7 different things, one for each day of the week for her Instagram account, so that she can be marketing both sides of her business and do it in a very easy way. So, what do we need to know about your business, my friend?
So I am a performing mermaid and a website designer. My name is Mermaida, and I've been a website designer for about 20 years, and I'm looking to kind of integrate that more with my mermaid platform.
So, as a professional mermaid, you are somebody who owns a tail, you are a performer, you do a lot of different events, and you're also leaning into your website design. So, you are creating designed websites for different businesses, for different mermaid clients. We're going to be taking a look at how you can implement that even more into your Instagram account today. So, in looking at your Instagram account, we can already see we've got some gorgeous visuals. We've got a lot with your mermaiding life, which I absolutely love. I know for a fact that mermaid content performs really well on social media. So I love right now that we're seeing very good coloring, very consistent coloring. We're seeing a lot up close details. You're getting a lot of great information in there. You are also in the finance space. You talk a lot about crypto as well. So you've got some really good content here that we can work with. And we want to talk a little bit about what you can do over the next 7 days to truly lean into this. So with that in mind, I know we're focusing heavily on your mermaid life, so your performance life and your web design. I want to see a ton of crossover. Right now, you've got a lot of mermaid content. We've got a lot of tail, we've got a lot of the crowns, a lot of the jewels. Love all of that. But we want to lean a little bit heavier into the website side of things because right now, just from that visual look, we're not getting a lot that you are a designer. So my very first thought on this is I want you to create a series or a mini series of you in your tail, or if you're not going to do a full length image, you can just do your hair and your makeup, wear your crowns, wear some jewels, something that represents your mermaid life. And I want you to be very techie about the visuals you're creating, whether it's your photos or your videos. I want it to be you with a computer on your lap, on your desk, next to you. If you are going to be showing the computer screen, I want to see a website you are designing. And then inside of your captions or inside of any audios that you are creating or any quote graphics that you're making, I want you to be very clear on website specific conversation. So we're going to lean heavily into top 3 things you need on your business website. We're going to lean heavily into visual design for your website, mistakes people make on their websites, why you should hire a professional to design your website. So we're going to be very instructional, very educational on this content. Does that all make sense?
Yes, it does.
Beautiful. So the very first thing I want you to do is to take a picture of you in mermaid attire, whether that's full length or just a close up, and a computer screen. I want this computer screen to be next to you so we can see the screen, and I want you to put either your website or a website you have designed on it. Now, you can be looking and smiling at the camera, or you can be turned and typing on it and looking away, so it's more of a lifestyle look. But I want to make sure that we're showing that you're actively working on designing websites. And then with that, we're going to come up with a specific topic. So the first thing I want you to do is 3 mistakes people make on their websites. I feel like that's a really good introduction to what you're doing and how you're doing it. So I'm going to want you to come up with 3 different points. Now for this, you can either do it as a video where you're going to be doing some lifestyle B-roll footage at different angles of you on the computer designing or scrolling through a website or something like that. You're going to stitch them together so that you can create kind of like a storytelling, and you're going to do a voiceover for it. Or, and you can actually use this as 2 separate posts if you want, you can create a carousel. So I don't want to see when you're doing informational or educational things for you to have just one single static image. Carousels are where it's at right now, especially now that Lemonade is popping up. We're seeing a lot of content on Lemonade, which is TikTok's answer to Instagram and Pinterest. It's mostly for static images and carousels, but there's also some videos on there as well. And people love to click through an album and be able to get instructional content. So for this, if you're going to do it with static images, I want 4 different images or 5 different images of you. The first one is a title page to tell us 3 mistakes that people make designing their business website. Then step 1 is going to be on the second slide. Step 2 is going to be on the third. Step 3 is going to be on the fourth. The 5th image is going to be where to learn more or where they can find out more about you. So it's an intro and a wrap up with those 3 points in the middle. And that way people are going to be able to learn. You're going to want to keep the text very light on the graphic. So have a header with point 1, and then you can describe it a little bit. Header with point 2, describe it a little bit, and then you can flesh it out inside of the caption. Don't go too terribly deep in the caption because they only allow you so much. But if you have to go a little bit deeper, you can actually put the rest of it in the first comment on that post. So that's going to be a really good opportunity for you. And then you're going to want to use design elements in those graphics that move the eye forward. So especially because we are seeing the rise of Lemon 8 right now, we are seeing arrows, we're seeing lines in timeline form, and we're seeing dots in timeline form. So that will start in one space on your graphic and go off the page. So when they slide it, it continues on to the next page, and then it'll go up and over and slide, and then it'll go down and over so that you have that visual timeline. You don't have to do that on all of your graphics, but for something like this, it's going to help people guide them through that swiping process.
Okay.
Thoughts on that one? Does that feel good to you?
That actually feels really great. I like the visual aid to it that, as you mentioned, it gives them that keep going, keep looking. So yeah. I like to know that we need to add that.
Yeah, that's a really big thing right now, especially with Pinterest, especially with Lemon 8. We're seeing it start to translate over to Instagram. As you're scrolling through the Instagram feed, it's popping up more and more. I'm actually creating content with Lemon 8 in mind and then repurposing it over on Instagram. So whether or not you've got a Lemon 8 right now, creating that with that in mind is actually going to help you to then be able to use that older content when you jump on the platform, which I highly recommend everybody does at this point. It's owned by TikTok. It's not going anywhere. So this is a good one to be jumping in and to be mindful of as you're designing it. And having those leading lines, whether it's leading lines in your photos or leading lines in the design elements you're putting on it, definitely gets people to move over. And when you have that hook at the front, that's going to get them to stop the scroll. So focus on that first image being less about you, more about the big text. So you're going to want to use something with a bit of negative space or with colors that are going to make that text pop. That should be the hero part of that image, and you on the image is just the icing on the cake. That's the bonus in the background of what they're going to be learning. Then you can focus on you and your whatever you're designing inside of your, your computer on screen or whatever it is that you're doing. That can be a little more of a focus in the subsequent images.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So now that we've got 3 mistakes that people are making on their website, we're calling out potential issues. In your caption, you're going to tell them how to fix that or what to avoid, all of those things. I then want to talk a little bit more about you and your career and how long you've been doing this. We're going to give you a little bit of an establishing post. This is kind of like an intro. I like to do intros every once in a while. I tell my students every month or so you should be doing some kind of introductory post because you are getting new followers, new members. And when you do these introductory posts, it is actually going to be different every single month. It's not the exact same thing. So you're giving new facts, new information about you. So it's helping your existing audience to get to know you a little bit deeper as well. So for that one, I want you to create either a video or a static image carousel post about 3 facts about you or 4 facts about you. Sometimes we like to mix up the numbers. So we just did the 3 mistakes, maybe do 4 fun facts or 2 fun facts, or you could even play 2 truths and a lie. You can turn this into a game where you say, these are 2 things about me and 1 false one. Which one is not accurate? But you're going to keep it very focused on how long you've been a web designer, some of the cool projects that you've worked on, something really cool that you've learned while being a web designer. Keep it very focused on the business side of things.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to say intro as a designer. And that is going to be the second one that you are going to be doing. And again, if you get that engagement by playing a game or by doing something where they have to give an opinion or a thought, that's going to work really well for you. And I want you, if you're doing static images, to be very focused on you as a mermaid. So this does not have to have a computer, does not have to have you holding technology, although the more you can hold technology in your images for you, the better you're going to do. So that's going to be a really good opportunity for you to hold up a phone or a computer or a tablet. And it doesn't have to be super posy. It can just be you in context of everyday life. So lifestyle is going to work really well for you. If you set up your camera source on your desk and you set it up beyond your computer and shoot the back of your computer and you just kind of operating near your computer, or you take a picture where you have your camera source set on a table and you've got maybe a glass between you and the camera or a plate of food and you're just chatting on your phone. All those are going to give that lifestyle look that makes it a little bit more in the moment.
Okay. Got you.
So with that in mind, I also want to lean into the lifestyle version of this because we are being educational and instructional, but we also want to have those lifestyle vibes. And we want to talk a little bit more about how websites can be of value to people and how they can use them inside of their businesses. So you don't actually have to be the focus of every single image you're putting out there. You can create content that is just pretty and lifestyle and techy. It can be a really pretty picture of your desk with all of the things on your desk, your bottle of water, and you've also got your cell phone sitting there. If you've got a pair of glasses, they can just be sitting there. Pretty lifestyle with the camera focused on the computer or your tech, something where you can show like a flat lay of a website in mobile version. So have a phone on with the website up, just laying on your desk and shoot straight down on that one with all of the pretty things surrounding it. You don't have to be in it, but you can be. And if you do something like a flat lay, you can actually use your mermaid accessories around it. You can make it look a little bit staged. So take your crown and set it near your tablet that has the website open. Take some of your jewels and just scatter them around. So it can be very lifestyle, but it can also be a little on the stage side because we are mermaid performing and we are showing off those things. And those are things you would just have sitting around on your desk anyway because of who you are. So we want to do in the moment how they can be using these things in real life. So I'm going to have you create just a flat lay image of a website, your website, someone's website. You can actually use yours as a great example because then it shows off both aspects of your business, and just have it on a desk surrounded by some of your mermaid stuff and normal desky things. And then in your caption, you're going to talk about that website. If it's your website, talk about what you like about it. Talk about what works really well for you. Talk about the section that gets visited a lot. Pick one aspect of that website to highlight why you like it, why it's valuable, why it's important. You're just giving us good, valuable information. And then you're going to end that with, what is your favorite part of any website that you visit? What is the one page you always check out on somebody's website? So you're bringing them into the conversation after educating them on the value of the one that you happen to be showing.
Okay.
So we're going to call this, or I'm going to call this, lifestyle in the moment website ballet. There we go. That's a great way to put it. How is all this feeling? Is this feeling pretty good? Like it's going to connect with your audience for you?
Yes, and as you mentioned, the my other sub kind of topics, like it allows me to figure out how I can touch on those things and highlight them as well. Like I mentioning to like be able to do this with any website that I like. Like I have so many fun websites that I've done. I'm looking forward to highlighting some clientele of mine because like I've had fun with websites. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Another really cool thing that you could be doing, especially to highlight some of those websites and your mermaid life, is play a little bit of a game. We love on Instagram when people are showing us 5 things on their desk that are the color red, or 5 things in their studio that they use before breakfast, or whatever it happens to be. You can hone in on something that will bring in the color of your mermaid tail or the color of the jewels that you have in your room, as well as a color in the website or a specific word on someone's website that you designed or a specific element. Pick some kind of overarching theme and then make it, 5 things in my office that XYZ. And that way you can kind of touch on both sides, but really play into the mermaid side and then just a little bit touch on the website side. Or not. You don't even have to have tech in every single post, but we kind of want to see what your life is like. So if we're showing off our studio or our office space or our desk, that's a really great way to say, hey, I am a professional. Here's what I do. Here's how I serve you. Here are the things that surround me as I'm serving you. Here are things you need to know about the world in which I've created to best serve you. So that's a really good opportunity to show off your space, let everybody know, hey, I'm a pro, and show what you do for them. So this is things in your space with a theme. And that's something you can do over and over and over again. So as you're finding these themes, as you're coming up with these themes, even as you're brainstorming right now, Write every single one of them down in a note on your phone, in your journal, whatever. And then next week, do a different one. And the next week, do a different one. You can actually pull this in fairly frequently. I wouldn't necessarily do it every week because then it's going to get a little cumbersome as people are going through your feed. But I would do it once every 2 weeks, a couple times a month. That's a good opportunity. And if you dramatically switch it, so like things on my desk, things in the office, things that I do, that's going to mix it up a little bit as well.
Cool.
Okay, so we're leaning heavily into the web design, but we also want to make sure we're covering the mermaid life. So I know you do things like performances, you do different events, you go on location to do different things, you do a lot of your educational things with your mermaid life. So let's lean a little bit into highlighting some really fun aspect of your mermaid life. A lot of people follow mermaids on social media. They love the behind the scenes, they love the tales, they love the swimming videos, they love all of this. But people love behind the scenes even more. So as somebody who does this professionally for a living, I want you to start thinking right now, what is one thing that people will be surprised to learn about the life of a professional mermaid performer? And I want you to create a video on this. This can be B-roll. This can be direct to camera, whatever works best for you. If it's B-roll, you're doing a voiceover, not a text overlay, although you can add text as well. But I want them to hear your voice with this one. And I want you to start it off by saying one surprising thing about being a mermaid performer, or one thing that might surprise you about mermaid performance is. And I want you to lean into the surprise element, things you might not have been aware of. That's going to grab their attention with a hook like that. And then you can tell them something that they probably wouldn't guess. And it can be anything. It can be about what happens when you go into a tank. What happens when you travel with a tank? It can be what happens when you travel with a tail. It can be how you pack a tail to go on an airplane. It could be anything that's going to be surprising and weird and about very specifically your mermaid life and the things that you're using within the context of your performance business. But using that hook is definitely going to get their attention, and visuals with the video is very important. So we want a lot of movement, very short clips stitched together if you're not doing direct to camera. But if you are doing direct to camera, I even recommend overlaying some of those B-roll because people love to see movement with mermaids. So if you can get swimming, if you can get performing, if you can get whatever, that's going to work really well for you. I'm going to call this one surprise, if I can spell right, surprising thing about, we're going to call it mermaiding. All right. How is all of this feeling? Is this good so far?
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. This is all stuff that all of my cameras have been charged, and I'm ready to, I'm feeling good about this. We can do this. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I love it. And I feel like we're heavily leaning into the graphics. So let's focus on some videos that you can be doing because video is still king on Instagram right now. Reels are doing really, really well. They're getting that extended reach. And even right now, as we are filming this, what we're seeing with the algorithm is they are showing it to a small group of people. Based on how those people engage and interact, they'll show it to another small group of people. And based on how they're doing with it, then they'll decide to send it to more or to less people. But instead of the typical algorithm where you're going to see a spike on that first day or two, and then you're going to see a taper off, we're seeing smaller spikes now and big spikes 2 weeks from now. So it is actually extending that algorithm with something. So if you perform okay at the beginning, you may see it tick up after a week or two. And if that does well, you're going to see that go up and up and up and down and up and up and down a lot. I have one that has been popping off for the better part of 2 months now, and I'm just seeing severe spikes and back down. And then every couple of days, it goes back up by a couple thousand and back down. And so we're seeing this weird algorithm right now. It's a very interesting thing. So we want to lean heavily into video, but we also want to make sure we're respecting the carousels, especially with the rise of Lemon8 right now. So let's talk a little bit about videos. We want to see things like day in the life content. We want to know the behind the scenes of your mermaid life. We've got your tech life kind of covered in some of these. So I want, what does a normal day mermaiding look like for you? So this does not have to be necessarily a day where you have an event where you are packing and you're driving and you're going, although I do know you have an event coming up, so you could absolutely document that for this. But this could be day in the life of how you mermaid. And this could be handling calls, handling emails, Maybe you are designing a website for somebody. Maybe you are preparing content for social media. Maybe you are editing videos. You can actually film yourself editing your other TikToks and Instagram reels and use that as content. So we're going to go day in the life, and you can either choose to do a section of your day. So like a morning routine for a professional mermaid, or you can do an entire day long thing and take us on the journey. This is going to be B-roll footage, just very quick little clips, maybe 3 or 4 seconds each, and you're just going to rotate through your day. I want you to script your voiceover. So you're going to say day in the life or morning in the life of a professional mermaid, and line by line, you're going to script it. You're going to keep it short. We want 5 or 6 sentences in this so that we know exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. You do not have to include every bit of your day. You can do like the highlight reel of this. So we don't need to know that you woke up, you got out of bed, you made your bed, you brushed your teeth. We don't need all of that. We can say you got up, you got your coffee, you went and you did your things.
Yep.
And you are going to, just with 5 or 6 sentences, tell us what that is. Then you're going to record that voiceover. And I do recommend that you're recording voiceovers on your phone outside of Instagram, outside of TikTok, so that you have the ability to edit it better. You're going to record it, then you're going to drop it in with your footage. So you're going to add it to your footage. As always, I recommend you're doing your footage editing outside of Instagram, outside of TikTok, so that you have that clean, clear footage. You're going to use something like Adobe Premiere Rush or iMovie or whatever it is that you use. You're going to export that and import it into Instagram. So you're walking us through that day. And when it comes to day in the life content, you're not actually concluding it. I do not want you to end with a call to action. I do not want you to end with a question. I don't want you to end it. I want you to go through, here's what I did. And so I got up, I got my coffee, I packed my car, I got in the car, and I started to drive to this event. End. Cut it off, because people will watch until they feel like you're concluding with these. If they feel like you're wrapping it up, now they're done. They've seen it. They can move on. But if you abruptly cut that off and that's it, that's the end of the conversation, then it's going to loop back and you're going to get better watch retention.
Okay.
So we're going to show a day in the life behind the scenes. You're going to do your voiceover first. Then you're going to take your B-roll footage and match it to the audio. A lot of people, when they create this, they try to create the video first and then do the voiceover and match it to the graphics. And that just doesn't work. People lag. They don't know what to say. They stumble. There's weird pauses. So write it all out. Record that audio, literally read it word for word, then match your video to that so that we have a clear, concise day in the life video so that people know what you do as a mermaid, and then you can continue on with that. That's actually a really good practice for you to be doing every once in a while so that people can see that it's not all fun and games. It's not all performing. It's not all singing on stage. It's not all dunking yourself in a tank. Sometimes it's struggling to carry your mermaid tail to the car and to get it packed up and in the trunk without shutting the trunk on it and all of those things.
You think you've done this a couple times, girl.
Yeah.
Like you have your own personal experience there.
Well, maybe just a little bit. Oh, I love it. So we are on our very last one. Do you want to focus on the mermaid side? Do you want to focus on the website side for this last one?
So I'm gonna go with website just because that, like I said, that's where I make my money. So that's that's what I'm trying to integrate more of. I love mermaiding, and I know lots of people enjoy and follow it, and so it's been definitely kind of a, how do I mix the tech side with the fantasy side, because a lot of people are like, well, you're just a mermaid. So this has been, I'm excited to put a lot of these into use, and so I'm gonna say let's focus on the website stuff again.
Okay, so as you were saying that, I had inspiration. We're gonna do a crossover for this one, and so I want you to create a video for me on this one. And this is going to be one thing that professional mermaiding taught me to make better websites.
Okay.
And my first idea with that was the visual appeal. You can do whatever you want for this one, but my thought was mermaids are going to be flashy. They're going to get your attention. There's going to be specific things about their personal design that draw in the eye visually and communicate something. That can then parlay into websites. What is that hero graphic or that hero text on the website that's going to draw people in? What's the first flashy thing that's going to get their attention? Similar to how XYZ on a mermaid is going to get people's visual attention. You can do whatever correlation you want. It doesn't have to be that one, but that was my first thought with that. Something flashy about mermaids, something flashy about the website. So one thing that mermaiding taught me about making better websites.
All right. That I'm excited about, because that's something that
Right?
same situation I can kind of like keep doing that most people wouldn't think. Like that's a cool crossover and tie-in.
Yeah. And these can be done in any order. These do not have to be done in this order.
Okay.
So if that is something that really speaks to you, that could very well be your first thing. And that's actually a pretty good crossover, because we started off with 3 mistakes people make on websites. We're jumping in hard on that one. This is a softer way of actually negotiating that little bit of a changeover inside of your Instagram. So you can start with that one, especially if you're excited about it. That's going to be really good for you. And at that point, I also want you to make sure as you're recording this, you are in camera in mermaid form. I want you to be very clear that we've got that visual representation. You can speak direct to camera or you can do B-roll. I would recommend for this one that you start speaking direct to camera. So have the whole conversation by speaking direct to camera. Then as you are saying whatever that correlation is, I want you to get B-roll footage of you. You can either hold your phone up to your computer and point like this in front of it, so you can kind of point things out on a website, or you can move it around to show different aspects of that website. But I want you to visually show on your website, on someone else's website that you've designed, that direct correlation. And you're going to add that B-roll on top of your direct to camera so that your audio is all clear. It's the same thing. It's not like you're trying to then record a voiceover and match it. You're just going to drop that B-roll on top of it, and you can kind of show off what you've got over there.
Cool. I can do that. I'm excited about that one.
Right? I feel like that's going to be a really good one. And the more crossover you can do like that, where you're bringing your mermaid life into your web design, the better you're going to do, especially as you're transitioning from just mostly talking about your performance life into websites and design and all of those fun things. So the softer and the more gently you can do it, the better. It's going to keep people with you a little bit further. So leaning in and pushing mermaids, also websites, for the first couple of weeks, that's going to work to your benefit. Do you feel good about these?
I do. I'm very excited about these. I have a lot of ideas that are spinning in my head, and I'm probably going to have to make another page of notes and ideas because, like you said, like the themes, like my desk it's covered in mermaid stuff and behind the scenes stuff. Like, yeah, you mentioned the event. I have so much stuff that I'm working on, even for that. Like, it gave me ideas for that one. So I'm excited about this.
Well, especially when you have things, when you have events, not necessarily like I'm going out somewhere events, but like you're doing something big inside of your business in your office, we're going to call that an event. Those are good things to document because that allows people to see the behind the scenes, but it also is very easy content creation for you. So you do not have to focus on content creation if you have an event inside of your business. If you're doing anything, working on a project, going to a location, whatever, all I need you to do is for the first 5 minutes of working on that project, take your phone and film in 20-second clips at different angles. So as a novelist, I write my books and I will, for the first 5 minutes of it, take my phone and put it on one of my mounts. And I will just take the first 5 minutes and film from different angles so that it can see the backside of my computer as I'm typing, so that it can see my hands as I'm typing, so that it can see the opposite side as I'm typing. We're going to get it from different angles so that people can see over my shoulder. And in 5 minutes, I am concerned about moving it every 20 or so seconds, 10 to 20 seconds. We don't need long clips here. And then you're done. Once you have multiple angles of those things, that event, you're done. You don't have to worry about it. You can set your phone down and you can just go about your business handling whatever that event is. You've created content, easy B-roll that you can use right now for a piece of content, but also you can store in your files for later on. You can come back next week, next month, next year, and it's out of the way. When you take care of your content up front on something, then you do not have to worry about it the entire rest of the time. And that's whether you're going to a pumpkin patch with your family on an event, you're just going to get a couple of shots real quick and then you can just enjoy family time. Same for vacations. Same for when you're working an event. Same for when you are trying to get your mermaid tail in your car. You're just going to deal with those first couple of seconds and then you can deal with the rest of it without having to worry about creating content. So thinking of these things and just documenting them as you go saves so much time and effort. All right. And of course, we want to make sure that people are able to reach out to you and follow along as you are documenting your upcoming events and your mermaid life, your web design life, etc. So where can people reach out to you?
You can find me on Instagram at _Mermaida, MERMADA, and on Facebook at Mermaida MZM.
And be sure to follow along because we are doing more of these live coaching sessions for you so you can kind of see the behind the scenes of how you can take a similar business and implement these thoughts, these ideas, these structures into what you are doing inside of your life. And if you need more help, we do offer coaching and we offer scripted action plans for you so you don't even have to think about what you're going to be creating. I meet with you, I discuss your business and your motives behind what you're doing on social media and create line by line by line scripts so that all you have to do is film, clip them together, and put them out on social media so you can get back to running your business and living your best life. All of those things will be linked down below. And every single day we are dropping videos to help you navigate the world of social media marketing so you can spend less time creating content but make more money from it so you can live your best life and run your business without the stress and overwhelm of content creation. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.